Erin Odom's blog post, Staying at Home with Your Kids When You Can Barely Afford It, went viral with more than 1 million views. Erin started the blog after she and her husband struggled to make ends meet. They filed for bankruptcy and even went on government aid. But eventually they were able to make a financial comeback. In her latest book, You Can Stay Home with Your Kids, Erin shares tips and tricks to help you curb spending and create more income so you can reset your bank account.
Well, Erin Odom joins us now, and it's great to have you with us.
It's so great to be here, Terry.
We were just, one of our crew here and I were just saying 14%, only 14% of stay-at-home moms today. That's a startling number considering I grew up in an era when most moms were stay-at-home moms. And in fact, Erin, it was your mother who, and the way you were raised, that really influenced your desire, wasn't it?
She really did. She was a stay-at-home mom from the time I was 2, so I have no memory of her ever working outside of the home. She was always with me and my brother and sister.
What was it like for you with your firstborn after your maternity leave because at that point you had to go back to work because of financial need. What was it like to leave your baby?
It really tore at my heart. She was only 6 weeks old and I was nursing her, so I had to make sure that I had a place to pump at work. And it really broke my heart just to put her in that baby swing and leave her that first day.
You wrote a book called, another book in addition to the one we're talking about today, called More Than Just Making It. And in it you detailed some of the struggles that you had. Talk a little bit about that.
So we tried to make it work for me to stay at home when she was a year old. And we did end up making it work, but we went through many struggles to get there. We could never see our budget working out. Every month we would get to the end of the month, and the last week I couldn't go to the grocery store. We didn't have any money left in the bank account. So God really used some teachers from our church to help us realize we did not have enough money to live. And he used other people in our lives. He had a mentor that told me, you probably qualify for government aid. It was also during that time that we had a home in a different state that we couldn't sell. We were right in the middle of the recession and really didn't understand it. That home sat on the market for 4 years. We had renters off and on. Finally, I declared bankruptcy in order to get rid of the house. And so it felt like a very humbling time. Looking back, God really stripped us of pride, and he really taught us to trust him, that he is the great provider of all of our needs. And he also taught us that we had gifts that he had given us, that we could learn to create more income from home.
So really, in a sense, you could say God wrote this book.
God did. He really did. He wrote our story, and he's using it to encourage other moms and dads who want to spend more time with their families.
You say in the book that the struggle with money means one of two things. Either you don't make enough, which is what you and your husband discovered in your scenario, or you're spending too much.
Right. Absolutely. And so there's grace for you, whichever your problem is. You know, I'm not going to stand in judgment over someone that struggles with spending. There's different reasons for that, but there's hope to be set free from that. You know, the Lord can set you free from that. He also can teach you how to create more income for your family. So I would say, you know, try to determine, do I have an income problem or do I have a spending problem? And if you don't know, ask God to reveal it to you.
Why did you start writing a blog? How did that come to be?
It was really fueled out of desperation, Terry. I always loved writing, and when I was a little girl, I would make up stories, but then I walked away from writing for about 6.5 years, even though I'd studied it in college. And I had a friend and a newspaper editor, because I was freelancing on the side. They both told me, you could possibly make a full-time income by starting a blog. So I started thehumbledhomemaker.com. I started it on a blog spot. It was free, so I didn't even have to pay $10 for a domain name. And within a year, I was making a pretty decent income, and within 2, we had replaced my husband's teacher salary.
Wow. Did you have any idea this would grow to this magnitude?
I had no idea, Terry, and it's really interesting because when I wrote that blog post, staying at home with your kids when you can barely afford it, I felt like I was really putting myself out there. I felt very vulnerable and scared. But I had some friends that said, we think that people need to hear this message. That was the blog post that really set my blog on the path to begin providing for our family and also encouraging millions of women.
You have the subtitle of your book, You Can Stay Home with Your Kids, is 100 Tips, Tricks, and Ways to Make It Work on a Budget. Give me a few of those.
So one of my favorite tips is the healthcare tip about hopping on a health share plan. I don't know if you've heard of those, but there's 4 big ones in the United States. And I talk about those in my book. My family actually uses Liberty Health Share. So it's an alternative to health insurance, and it's for believers to pool their money together and provide for each other's healthcare needs. I will give you an example. We were spending over $800 a month when my husband was a teacher on our health insurance. Wow. Then for a while we had Cobra, $1,200 a month. Right now we pay $449 a month for 6 of us to be on Liberty Health Share. We have a $1,500 out of pocket each year, and after we meet that, they cover everything else.
Unbelievable. It's really a smart idea.
It really is for believers to pool their money together and help each other out. Some of them even send prayer requests so you know who you're helping to share the medical expenses for, and so you can pray for them along with providing for their needs.
It's really becoming community as
really
believers. Yeah. You have some interesting ideas about options for making additional money for people who need or work at home. Talk about some of those, using technology, for example.
The internet has flung the doors wide open for moms to make money from home. Now, do I think everyone should be a blogger? Absolutely not. That goes along with my giftings and callings and
one
passions.
Option, right.
So yes, absolutely. But besides blogging, you can be a virtual assistant for other bloggers or for other entrepreneurs. You can use organization skills, administrative skills. I have a friend who's a single mom who makes a full-time income with tutoring and also doing VIPkid.com. She teaches Chinese children English on the computer.
Wow.
For $25 an hour.
Wow.
She's able to stay at home with her children as a single mother.
And I imagine you can do that on an adjustable time frame
for a family. They do have some flexibility. She's able to do it in the morning before her children wake up and at night after they go to bed.
Listen, we are skimming the surface, but if you're a mom who's hungry to stay home with your kids and you just can't figure out how to make it work, Erin's book is for you. It's called You Can Stay Home with Your Kids, 100 Tips, Tricks, and Ways to Make It Work on a Budget. And even for those of you who prefer to work at home rather than in an office, some great ideas in here. It's available wherever books are sold. It's great to have you with us, Erin. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Smart thinking.